Is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. Well, this week marked the beginning of the end of the war in Afghanistan.
And American leadership means ending the forever war in Afghanistan.
In his address to Congress this week, President Joe Biden announced that he will withdraw all American troops from Afghanistan over the coming months, ending U.S. involvement in a war that has dragged on for 2 decades. The U.S. military has started drawing down troops in the country, plans to have all military personnel out of Afghanistan by the 20th anniversary of the September 11th attack. MTN's Phoenix O'Connor talked with 2 Montana veterans to bring us their perspective.
Dates have a meaning. They are the way we measure time and mark significant events in our lives.
I was actually at sick call at the troop medical clinic and looked up and saw the towers on fire.
Sean Gifford recounts the attacks of September 11th, 2001. It was the deadliest terror attack on American soil, and it would plunge America into its longest war, the war in Afghanistan.
It's not like other wars we fought where it was almost like a shared sacrifice across the country. A very small amount of people join and enlist and go and serve. You know, as prior wars, it was the draft and large numbers of troops deploying, and it wasn't an all-volunteer force.
Now, as we approach the 20th anniversary of the attacks, President Biden has set a goal to bring all American troops from Afghanistan. Veterans like Phil, who asked we not use his last name, remembers the hard-fought battles, the cooperation of nearly 40 nations, and the work of Afghan police and interpreters to fight back terror in their home country.
I saw a lot of them do some pretty incredible things under fire, and I just have a hard time believing that they're going to give up the last 19 years of struggle and fight to make their country better just because we're leaving. And I certainly hope that doesn't happen, and I hope to some degree we're able to remember and support them in whatever capacity that looks like.
According to the Department of Defense, more than 2,400 service members have died serving in Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Freedom Sentinel, 2 operations that focused heavily on Afghanistan. A Montanan would become one of the first lost in the war on terror.
Christopher Stonecipher from Missoula in 3rd Ranger Battalion, and there was 2 people that was killed in a helicopter crash supporting operations in Afghanistan, but that was literally the first price in blood that the nation paid for that conflict, had roots in Montana.
Gifford, who joined the United States Army in the early 90s, remembers those young faces who served in those early days. He said they were young enough to be a son, and that's what hit him the hardest to this day.
Sense like you're sitting around the table with your family, like, why me? Why do I deserve to be here with my family? And the young man I told to go stand over there or told to go do this doesn't.
Gifford hasn't stopped serving. He is the mayor of Three Forks, and for Phil, it's Montana's mountains, rivers, and wildlife that's helped him heal. He also says it also draws many veterans to the Treasure State.
Montana has the 2nd highest per capita number of veterans here, and part of it's because of a drive to serve, and I think another part is veterans are attracted to this area, not just because of the geography and the solitude and kind of the mountains and the water, but also the people and the community and the support and the appreciation we find here.
For MTN News, I'm Phoenix O'Connor.
Former President Donald Trump had originally set a deadline of May 1st for all troops to be withdrawn. Instead, President Biden pushed that back to September 11th. However, the Department of Defense has already begun withdrawing troops this week. Montana's governor and Republican legislative leaders gathered today to wrap up the 67th legislative session. They outlined what they felt were some of their top achievements, including limiting spending increases and large income and property tax deductions.
Ultimately, we're creating an environment where Montana is more competitive, where businesses can grow, thrive, and create more good-paying Montana jobs.
Democrats argued the tax proposals favored the wealthy and that Republicans spent too much time on an investigation into the judiciary. Well, a new movie is about to start shooting in and around the Billings area. It's called Supercell, and it's about a son following in his father's footsteps as a storm chaser. Q2's movie-loving weatherman Krista Rose has more on Hollywood coming to town.
The last major motion picture to film in Billings was the critically acclaimed movie Nebraska back in 2012. Other great movies have called southern Montana home, including Robert Redford's A River Runs Through It and Ron Howard's Far and Away. And in every Montana film, the landscape seems to play a crucial role. That's one reason why producer Nathan Klinger says the new movie Supercell chose to film here.
The production value you get shooting in Montana on location is unrivaled. You point the camera and shoot, and you're getting just value out of just the vistas that you're seeing.
Supercell has the feel of a modern-day Twister, arguably one of the greatest weather disaster movies of all time. This story, however, centers around a young storm chaser trying to follow in his father's footsteps, tracking major storms. Academy Award nominee and Emmy winner Alec Baldwin leads the cast, and the film is written and directed by former storm chaser James Winterstern.
It's interesting, he had spent 2 years storm chasing all across the plains, right? So he has a very tight-knit community amongst storm chasers that he knows really well, and he's leaned on for advice about production, but how to get this stuff, execute the vision, really.
A few decades ago, film production in Montana was relatively small, but a few years ago, all that started to change. I spoke with Montana Film Commissioner Allison Whitmer, who explains that because of tax incentives, a lot of filmmakers are coming to shoot in Montana and are generating a lot of money into the local economy.
Well, during 2019 and most of 2020, we've calculated with our research report that we've had about a $48 million impact in the state. And we are certainly hoping to continue that. We've been able to put filmmakers in every corner of Montana, and we'd like to see that maintain. They come with cash in hand, and they hire people, and they stay in hotels, and they rent cars, and they distribute their money into all levels of your local economy. Films have rented broken bricks, they've replaced windows, they've rented your local diner, they've bought teepees, they've rented horses, they have rented your home, they've rented your vintage car. And so they come in with money and they spread it through all the community. And then you get to see the final product in the theaters later.
Supercell is still in pre-production at the moment, but Nathan says everyone is looking forward to cameras rolling in early May.
I think that, for me, it's really exciting to be in Montana. I mean, I was looking forward to coming out here for this shoot. It's exceeded my expectations in terms of what the community's offering and what the locale and the look of the area is offering. And I'm excited to get to work and start shooting this movie with, the rest of the team.
Reporting in Billings, Krista Rose, MTN News.
Thank you, Chris. And if you'd like to take part in the film, the production is looking to fill a variety of background roles, especially those of storm chasers with unique-looking vehicles. If you or anyone you know is interested, email a recent photo, resume, and availability to supercellextras@gmail.com. And for more information on the film, you can log into the story on ktvq.com. All right, time for our first look at weather. Ed, it was a hot and really hot and dry finish to the month of April. How did we fare overall?
Let's take a look and see, because we'll start off with some of those numbers from today. 84, the high at the airport today, just 2 degrees shy of the record. Sheridan tied it. Livingston, you broke your record for the day, and Miles City within 1 degree of the record high. I had a couple of other records around Bozeman and Dillon as well. But here was the ups and downs. We started off very warm and then got very chilly. Then we ended on the warm note. So when you average all of those ups and downs together, our temperatures actually came within 0.6 of a degree of what our typical temperatures would be based on the 30-year average. Well, we only picked up 5 inches of snow, 3.3 inches below the average. We're actually right on for what we would normally see for a seasonal total at 53 inches. And the rainfall was also a little bit on the lean side this last month, which has been causing some problems here as we get into the spring. We'll take a closer look at the spring forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Thanks, Ed. The Great American Cleanup is kicking off, and a big beginning part of that played out last night at Senior High School. Q2's David J. was at Senior for the kickoff.
Make sure you get your t-shirts, Safety first!
Senior high school students launch Keep Senior Beautiful.
I'm glad we're able to do this project and get students more involved, and I just think it's an important event to show our Bronx pride by keeping our school clean and the surrounding community.
We know that sometimes living next to a school isn't always easy, and so we just want to get back out into the community and pick up after ourselves and show them that Bronx Nation loves our community because we want our community to love Bronx Nation.
The high school pilot project is part of Brighton Beautiful, the Billings affiliate of Keep America Beautiful.
We were noticing this passion among teenagers for cleaning up the environment, and we thought there ought to be a way for us to tap into that youthful exuberance.
The students are all over the campus, Dallas Stadium, Pioneer Park, and into the neighborhood. And it's more than just picking up trash. They get a lot of learnings out of the Keep Senior Beautiful project.
If we can get our kids to be civic-minded and community-minded now, great things are going to happen.
They learn to be responsible citizens. They take what they learn from an experience like this and bring it home and become better neighbors.
You know, we've got that rivalry going on. It's not just football and basketball. It's also in the litter cleanup game.
Definitely an honor that Senior was selected to pilot this project. Hopefully we can inspire other schools to do the same.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
Thanks, David. Nearly 170 students took part in last night's event. Joni Tooley, who you saw there, says she hopes to get Weston Skyview involved next spring. Ahead on the MTN News at 10 here on Q2, we continue to feature Montana's Special Olympians. We're going to meet two brothers from Big Timber who are tearing up the track. Then a little later in sports, the latest on that new indoor football team that will be calling Billings.